beginning of this year, in January, McCrum, who I've been mixing live for 2 years, I think, asked me if I'd be interested in helping him record some acoustic guitar tracks for a project that he had coming up, and boy, that snowballed into something else.
Well, I had the privilege to play on Danny McCrum's latest album, Letters to the Future, in which I was involved with 4 tracks. It was a really cool experience.
When he wanted to do his album, he invited me along to sing on it and a few other songs, and it was really nice to be asked. Actually, I was quite honoured because I've heard a few of his albums now, really high calibre.
What an experience! It's the first time I've ever been involved in something so big, with so many musicians.
It ended up involving a whole bunch of musicians, writing and creating tracks all on the fly at various venues around town, using theatres, all sorts of different places to record the album.
We met probably about 5 years ago. We had one really important thing in common, which was a tree that decided to fall between our 2 houses, and I came out and we met Danny because of this amazing tree that had managed to completely destroy a fence that we both lived next door to, and after several beers we worked out that we had more than just a tree in common.
I think this project has been really cool in the sense that it shows the true kind of camaraderie that we've got in our music scene here, that there were so many people who were willing to jump into a project that, to be fair, we didn't know how it was going to work.
We had no rehearsal, so we got sent the songs as MP3s beforehand, and the idea was just to sort of come together and put the parts down on the day.
Just the sheer number of people who got in there, got involved, and just for the love of it, I think it shows how cool this project is, and that a project like this really works. It's far more old school approach that you've got a bunch of mates who are willing to jump in and help another mate out in a really collaborative way. It's awesome. It doesn't happen anymore, so I think that's why people were so keen to be involved.
Me and Danny, whilst we've got a mutual love of music and have been involved in it on a professional level, we've never done anything directly related to music. It's not that we've tried to avoid it, it's just, I suppose, it just never really happened. And it was fantastic to be asked to be involved in the album, and it was a lot of fun.
It was really interesting watching the songs come together from an acoustic sort of part all the way through to a full band track, and watching how each sort of player developed the song and helped it grow and develop into something that was completely different, in my mind anyway, from when we started off. I don't know if Danny would agree with that or not, but
What really got me was the variety of styles within the album, and obviously each individual musician brought their own style anyway, so the songs as they were stripped back when we first got them were all different in their own right, but we made them even weirder and different. That's even a word.
Danny was capable of crafting what we were working on.
That's probably the nature of this recording as well, was just turning up without having any preconceived ideas, mainly because I'd never heard any of the songs before. And just, I think it was 7 or 8 songs we knocked out, and not a lot of time, but because it had all been set up really well, everything just kind of happened. There was ideas here and there, and it just was a very smooth process.
It's been really cool to play on something where I basically had no creative boundaries, apart from guidelines. It was just do whatever you want to do, man, and it was really cool, and I think the result shows how that's worked really well amongst all of the musicians on the album.
Again, which is probably quite different from the normal recording experience, where everything's so fully arranged and organised and doesn't have as much soul in the process because it's all kind of forced, you know. Just turning up and having the freedom to just, here's a song, what do you think's going to work? You know, you play it a few times and go, that actually worked. Cool. Like that's a unique kind of approach as well these days.
Yeah, it's a nice way to go about to go about it, and like Daniel was saying, he was just trying to just try to take a different angle on things, try not to do things the traditional way.
Thinking outside the box, which is basically what this project I think sums up.
Listening to Danny's music over the years, I've heard a lot of his music, and when I heard this album, I just thought this is definitely going to be the best work that he's ever produced. And then listening to some of the artists that have put their influence on the music, it just jumped out for me.
The musicianship across the board was pretty wicked. It was cool to work with so many wicked musicians in so many different genres and over so many different instruments. Danny, I think, did some very, very cool stuff that was a big step away from his previous recordings, which I think is what he was really hoping to get out of the record, was trying to go in a new and exciting direction.
So yeah, there's a couple of really great bass players on the album. Dan and Cam, both playing a bunch of the songs. So I like playing bass too, and I said to Danny, there's one song in particular called Monday. I said, well, if I can get a chance to jump in and do my thing on it, that'd be cool. So luckily there was some space was made.
I suppose that's what's cool about the project as well, is I'm not the only bass player, so the same thing, there's ideas, and on some of those songs, you know, things were happening that I probably wouldn't have done, and which is good, because what I would have done maybe would have sucked. So it's cool that there is other, and the same thing with the drummers. You've got 3 different drummers who all play quite differently.
There was three drummers that were playing on the record. There was
Chris Grant, Glenn, Sam.
and we all got the opportunity to pick some of the songs that we wanted to do.
It was bizarre recording on a single album, I suppose. 3 different drummers, all with different styles. Everything from loose and funky to quite straight and solid to just crazy. Some of the drums on the record, Danny basically just told them to go nuts in certain parts, and it turned out amazingly well.
It's really interesting from a drummer's point of view to hear another 2 drummers playing the songs and hearing their approach to the other songs that were there.
Each drummer made it their own, which is the most exciting part. It was like, and each drummer did a really, really good job, feel-wise and everything. All the playing on it's amazing. No matter what instrument, all the playing's amazing.
Double bass with contrast of electric bass as well, with different plays and different styles. It all adds to making a really, really interesting sounding and really interesting, diverse record.
I used to look up to Chris at high school and go, whoa, he's amazing! And now I get to play on the same album as him, so it's pretty cool.
Mine probably my favourite one, yeah. That's like the kind of track I'd show a lot of people, because it's probably the coolest track I've actually had to play on ever. Yeah, I mean, I think every musician hopes to play on a musical track, if that makes sense. You might get a lot of session work that's obviously session work quite standard and commercialised. You know, it was cool to play on something that was, odd time signature and musical.
Right at the very start, when Danny played the acoustic demos, he played them to me in the car. There was a couple of tracks that stood out. Turnaround was one of them. That's on the EP now. Mind Pilot, that was a standout. Cool in the Cardigan, that was probably another standout.
Yeah, the first song on the album, In Your Town, was it's a great tune. It's probably a little bit different for Danny's style. It's real. It sits in the pocket. It's really. It's got a real edge to it, a real atmosphere, and the bass line. I'm a bass player, so I quite often listen to bass lines, and the bass line's it's great. It just sort of dances around. The song's quite up the middle, and then the bass line's bouncing all around it. So, and it's done on double bass. Beautiful bit of music.
one track that stuck out when I first heard the demo. With a very, Danny called it the rough cut demo. It was pretty polished then, and that was Make Your Own Light. That one sort of sold it for me. There was a couple of other tracks in there that I just, before I knew it, they crept up on me and bit me in the arse. They were just really fantastic.
My favourite song on the album is probably Everything Will Be Okay. It's a great song, and also I like the way the performance builds throughout the song. By the time it gets to the end of the tune, it's kind of real nice crescendo. And the another song, interesting enough, I don't play drums in that one. My other favourite one is You Don't Find Me Funny Anymore, which I didn't play drums on. It's a nice job by Mr. Sam Edgar.
One of the standout songs for me was Reaction. I think it was a really, really good song to start with, because I just got the vocals and guitar. Listened to it and listened to it and listened to it, and tried quite a few different things on all of them really. But yeah, it took a while to get that one because I wasn't happy with what I was doing most of the time, because I really wanted to get it right, because it was probably my favourite song to start with.
And I just thought, well, let's see how much we can bring this to life. Obviously, from a recording and producing point of view, all the information was there. It was great. All that was required now was to fatten it up and to slim it down where it needed.
Working with Danny and Seth was really easy, because I chucked ideas at them, they chucked ideas at me. It was really creative.
This guy's on drugs. Everyone.
And Seth as an engineer was, what's the word? Very precise, and I really liked that.
Recording with Seth was really cool because I think he had a kind of fresh approach in the sense that he's quite fresh to album recording himself. That he had quite an infectious little bit of excitement going on, so I think it genuinely was quite exciting for him. I think for some of us that are a little bit more jaded with the recording, it's quite nice to come in and have a guy at the desk who's kind of making it really fun and keeping it really interesting too.
Seth was fantastic. It was great. It sounds like I'm bigging up the album, and that's because I am. It's an awesome album, and I think there's a song in there or a track in there for any person to make their own.
It's got a fair amount of layers in there that people will, I think, discover the more they listen to it.
Being able to go back and listen to the now completed album has been amazing, because it's just grown so much. It's got acoustic bass players in there, and it's layered guitars and backing vocals and percussion, and yeah, it's just sounding great.
Hearing it back right at the end was pretty amazing. Just all the little bits that I had no idea that were going to happen, and all the, I would not have expected a banjo, to be honest, but it turned out to be one of the coolest things on the album. I really liked the banjo and the double bass. Awesome, really, really cool.
We went down to Coromandel to mix the album with a chap called Ron,
and set up a batch as a studio, and it was a wonderful sort of environment to be able to make as much noise as we needed to and just freestyle on the whole album.
And then sent it off to 301, I've got that right, studios in Australia to get mastered.
The album overall though is awesome. I think it's fantastic, and I just say congratulations to all the people that have been involved and some of the artists.
It's just a great project to work on. Good people, good music, good tunes, really good tunes.
Kill all the computers, take the computers and crush them, and make everyone buy records. Records, buy.